Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever the heck you're listening to this. Welcome back to Nerdin' Out. My name is Evan.
Oh, sorry, I was stuck in the time-space continuum. We don't have day, night, or evening here. I'm Nathaniel. Sorry, Evan.
Um, so David is not with us today, unfortunately. Sad face.
He's off doing car things or something. And
Yeah.
where is it? Del Mar?
Del Mar, yeah. David. So it's okay. We'll get him next time. He's still a valued member, but he has a life outside of this, and that is okay.
I thought we had voted him off the team because of this. We'll talk after, but
You guys just have a constant beef trying to get each other off the show. It's either him saying like, okay, we cut him, and then you, it's just like, no, we voted him off because now this is Survivor.
well, I mean, that's just okay. I'll get rid of him someday, but I see what you say. Weekly news?
It just becomes a rival. Yes, weekly news. You got that, bro.
Yes, so I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like very split on this. Lord of the Rings TV series announced by Amazon.
Okay.
Most expensive show in history.
So that is confirmed. Like I remember,
It is
we
confirmed
have.
for 5 seasons.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how. I don't know how I feel about that.
I think it's too soon. Way too soon.
I don't think it's too soon. I just think it's unnecessary.
See, I think if the movies didn't exist, or if it was like 50 years after the movies, maybe. And there's a lot of money being put into it. And Amazon has made some fantastic shows.
Right.
But
I don't think it's worth.
money doesn't equal good.
Well, it's not that I don't think it's worth it. I think Lord of the Rings is a great franchise, and I think it could be good, but I just don't think it's necessary because I mean, no one's waiting for this. No, I don't remember anyone waiting for this.
No one has ever talked about this that I could remember of. At
Yeah.
least no one in my people that I know circle.
I saw a video, like a promo video. I'm not sure how true this is. I didn't really look too far into it, but I saw a Star Wars Netflix series.
Oh, that is real.
With Darth Maul.
Don't know about that.
You don't know. You don't know if
That
that's
I know
true.
there's an animated one. I want to say it's Rebels that has him in it, maybe.
Well, yeah, I know that's true.
But you're talking about live action.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure how true, because I saw the trailer for it or the promo video for it. It looked pretty legit. There were moments where I'm like, okay, this looks like a fan thing. But
It's a fan thing.
I really hope it's not a fan thing.
It is a fan thing because they haven't confirmed the live action details or shown any footage yet. But there will be a live action series.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
But
that's
yeah,
disappointing.
we will see how the Lord of the Rings things
I was
unfolds.
gonna say there's also I saw there's test footage for Deadpool animated series,
I don't know anything about that.
and whether or not that's gonna be on Netflix or not, I'm not sure.
That would be cool.
Or like another streaming website.
Interesting. Well, next piece of news. Spider-Man PS4 release date. September 4th. That was Evan. That was Evan again. That was Evan for a third time. He's very excited.
I'm so excited for this game. I feel like every time we talk about a new game with release date and everything, I'm always really excited for it. But that's only because they've been coming out with really good games recently, or more specifically, the PlayStation company. Like Sony's been coming out with really good games, and I've been really happy with the production and how much time and effort's been going
And
into
they come
them.
out and they're great.
Yeah. And I've been waiting for this game for a while since it got announced, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's only been a year, I
only
want to
been-
say.
Yeah.
So,
It feels longer because I've been waiting for so long.
I mean, I've wanted an actual good current gen Spider-Man game for a long time.
Yeah.
For I guess the duration of the current gen. But Insomniac Games is making it. I believe they made Ratchet and Clank. They also made Resistance.
Yeah.
Interesting choice of developer. I did see a quote from them where they said that the one thing they wanted to get right was web slinging.
Which is probably obviously, it's probably the most important part of any Spider-Man game. For example, the Spider-Man 2 video game that was based on the Tobey Maguire film.
Yes.
To Spider-Man 2. That one's considered the best game ever
Mhm.
because of the web slinging, because that mechanic was so fun and that people would ignore the story and just web sling around for hours. So I think if they get the web slinging right, everything else will fall into place and it'll be a great game. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it.
I'm super excited too. Another PS4 game that actually releases this month but doesn't have web slinging is
No, but it has axe swinging.
oh
Sorry, that was dumb.
No, that was a good transition. I applaud you
um,
without making applauding sounds.
God of War 4.
Yes, it was just called God of War, but it is the fourth.
But it is the fourth
main
installment.
entry.
It is the
Yes.
fourth installment, and we're following the main character Kratos, which is he's become the God of War, and hence the name, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And now
He's got a son.
he's got a son, and they are dealing with Norse mythology. Now, the first 3 God of War games dealt with Greek mythology and like Zeus and Ares and all those guys. Zeus.
So much yelling.
There's a lot of yelling, and this one takes place in I can imagine like Norway or somewhere like that in the mountains, and it's like snowy. And he used to have 2 blades. Now he has a giant axe and a shield. It's very Viking-esque.
Yeah, I'm really surprised actually that they completely changed his weapons because it's
Mhm.
very standard for developers to keep the weapons just because they have the whole they had to create a whole new combat system for it.
Right. And just from the gameplay alone, it looks incredible.
It
I'm really
looks
excited.
gorgeous. I want to. Well, yeah. It's
I'm
beautiful.
really excited for this game as well. I feel like most games that we talk about, I'm really excited
Yeah,
for.
that comes out on the 20th, and that
Yes.
is day 1 buy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And we will definitely have a review for that at some point when we've played it for a week at least.
yes.
And I guarantee after playing it for a week, we'll probably have more than enough material to talk about.
If we hate it, David gets kicked off the team. If we like it, he could also be kicked off the team. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I'm not gonna get into it.
I'm just hating on David. All right, stuff we're into.
Stuff we're into, absolutely. Well, for me, a while ago I tried to broaden my list of anime that I watched, and I added a lot to my watch list, and then I hadn't watched any of them, and then I decided, you know what, I just picked one at random, and there's one called Code Geass, and there's 2 seasons to it, and
There's only 2?
there's only 2 seasons.
Oh.
And there's only 50 episodes altogether. There's 25 episodes in each season.
That makes it more watchable. I'm going to get into it.
And,
Anyway, go ahead.
It's really good. I don't really say like I have any complaints about it, but I'm also not saying that it's the greatest anime ever. There's definitely other ones that are better, but the character development's really good in this, and they do a good job and like character motives change, but they don't change like on a dime.
Right.
Like you see the gradual changes, and you see these characters go through things, and then you see that their morals and their principles are questioned, and then they have to change them to adapt to this world to adapt to this world that's changing.
So kind of like real life.
Yeah, a
people.
little bit.
Kind of like real
But
life people.
except
That's good.
but except with superpowers and like mind control powers and like Gundam-esque mechs and stuff, and like giant robots that fight.
Yeah, I'm typically against mech animes. I remember I saw the first episode, and it was good. I just forgot about it. So I will check that out.
Yeah.
And you guys should too, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, no, I recommend it. If you're an anime fan and you haven't seen it yet, I do recommend it. It's a good show.
And if you're not an anime fan, what are you doing with your life? So,
That's not true.
I'm going to go through my list kind of quickly, if that's cool.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I finally finished Horizon Zero Dawn's DLC expansion for those.
Oh, snap.
Yes. It's called The Frozen Wilds. So the game, you fight a bunch of monstrous dinosaur robots with a bow and arrow. That is a game.
And a spear.
And it was like, and a spear, yes, and other, like a slingshot. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, that's what you're gonna fight giant dinosaurs with.
I mean,
But,
I've played it. It's effective.
yeah, I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Game is great. DLC was more great, like more of the same greatness.
More of the great.
More of the great. So yeah, just beat that. Then I started up watching The Men in High Castle. Do you know about that show?
No.
So the premise is Germany and Japan win World War II.
Whoa.
And they take over the world.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like this new world run by the Nazis in alliance with Japan, and it's really interesting. It's really good. It's on Amazon Prime Video. So I picked that up again. I'm more than halfway through the first season. Yes, watch it. And then one last thing, and then you could give us the other thing on your list, or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is.
It's just one, but
It's just
continue.
one. Okay. So Netflix original movie, Okja.
Akcha. I don't think I've heard of it.
No, so it's a Korean directed film,
Okay, that's probably why I haven't heard.
but it
of
has American actors,
it. Oh.
and also has like 1 or 2 Korean actors. It has like Steven Yeun. It has what are their names? It has people in it that are white and are actors and are American, mostly. Steven Yeun's not white. Anyway, it's great. It's super quirky. It's about like this industry where they're creating these super pigs for mass market like selling, and you're supposed to eat them. And like there's this little girl trying to rescue her pig. Looks like a hippo.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. I
Yes.
do remember that. Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch it for like a year.
I have seen. It's not animated, correct?
No.
No, it's not. Okay,
No.
yeah. I do. No, yeah. I do remember seeing trailers for that. Yeah, and I remember seeing some familiar faces. I was like, oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal's one of them.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
But
Gyllenhaal.
yeah, it was surprisingly good. It's super weird, very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Last thing on your list.
Last thing on my list. On my list.
On your list.
My lift. Is still The Witcher 3. I'm still playing it. Still enjoying it. It's still, nothing's changed. Still a great story, and I've been working at it little by little. Just when I have downtime, just because I work in school and other things like that, so that's taking up a lot of my time. But
Yes, responsibilities.
yeah. So when I do have free time, characters are still fun. They haven't changed over me, of course. I mean, why would they? But yeah, so it's still fun and I'm enjoying it. So I'm about halfway through the
DLC or the main game?
The DLC.
Awesome.
I've finished the main storyline,
Very good.
or at
huh?
least one of the main storylines. But
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm like halfway through the Heart of Rocks DLC, or the Rock Hearts DLC, one of the two, or whichever one it is. It's the blue one. So, right, yeah, I know. So yeah,
Heart of Stones.
Heart of
Heart
Stones.
of Stone.
Heart of Stone. There you
Boom.
go.
We got it. We didn't get it last time.
So
Heart of Stone.
yeah, so Heart of Stone. I'm halfway through that DLC, and then I'm saving the Blood and Wine for the last one.
Yes.
So that is, that is my thing.
So, time for a main topic. Saying this and Evan saying this. There you go. It's time for the main topic.
Okay.
A Quiet Place review.
Ah,
Tell us a little bit about this film. Oh, before we start, spoilers. This is a full spoiler review.
yes, this is chock full of spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie yet, first of all, what are you doing? Go see this. Second of all, yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off now.
And come back to this later once you've watched it because you're going
so,
to watch it.
Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you've been spoiled. All right, so Snape killed Dumbledore.
We can say that now, right? Because it's like we already said spoilers.
That's true. Okay, so quick synopsis. A family forced to live in silence while hiding from creatures that hunt by sound. That is the entire plot of the story,
That's pretty accurate.
right? Yeah.
There's a lot of silence and it works.
Yeah, and and everyone I've talked to about this movie, I've said that with a combination of actual spoken words and sign language (ASL), there's probably less than 100 words of dialogue in this film.
Wait. Counting ASL and spoken.
And spoken word. I think it's pretty close, if not just at 100 or just below 100.
Wow.
There's still, I don't think there's not that much dialogue in it. I haven't done my full research on that, but just from what I remember, there was not that much dialogue in it.
There was more silence than anything for sure.
Yeah, and what's great about it is that it uses that to its advantage. So, Quiet Place. Director John Krasinski, which also he and Emily Blunt star in this film.
So Jim and Pam. No, he's not actually married to that actress.
No. All the Office fans are like, no,
That's not real.
Yeah. So John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, who, fun fact, are actually married in real life,
Actual wife.
actual
Emily
husband
Blunt.
and wife, and they play husband and wife on the screen. John Krasinski was one of the screenwriters. So was Brian Woods and Scott Beck, who have also worked on movies such as The Hunt and Nightlight in 2015. If you haven't heard of those movies, that's okay. Those were more, low key indie films.
All right.
They weren't mainstream films. So if you haven't heard of those, that's okay. And the
Yeah,
producer,
Good, because
which-
I haven't heard of them. Anyway, go ahead.
the producer, which surprised me, I think both of us, because we didn't see who the producer was until the end, and we were
Oh.
both surprised. Michael Bay,
Yes.
was the producer of this film.
Was there an explosion in this movie?
No.
Maybe no.
No,
there
was not a single explosion in this movie.
And I know that doesn't really need to be said, but where were the explosions? I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy about it is that budget-wise,
It's good.
Budget-wise, it cost $17 million to make.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. But opening weekend,
Mm-hmm.
$50 million. Excuse me.
That is very nice. That's a very nice
So
profit.
so far is the second biggest opener of 2018. I'm behind Black Panther.
That is really impressive for something that does not have $100 billion budget
Right.
or million. Right?
$100 million budget.
not
and-
billion.
Yeah,
That would be-
yeah. It's amazing, and we could talk about the just like plot for a little bit. So yeah, it opens up like on like day 82 is what it says. It's just day 82, and we don't know if it's day 82 after these monsters showed up or if it's day 82 of when they got to this place. We have no idea.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
I assumed it was when they appeared.
Right.
But yeah, it
And-
could have been specifically to the
yeah,
family.
and what's awesome is that this story it really doesn't give you anything. It just drops you into the story and says, okay, we'll watch what happens. And we don't know anything about these monsters, where they come from, what the world calls them. We don't know what their names are of these monsters. They're just monsters that hunt.
We know they got.
Oh, that looked amazing on the, the audio file.
I
Oh
bet
my
it
gosh.
did.
And they make a lot of clicking noises, and you see their face, and it's so weird. It like opens up in a bunch of different ways and cracks, and you can hear their ears, and they make these clicking noises as almost like echolocation, and that's
Right.
how they see and they hunt.
It's very.
And it's a very sensitive sense of hearing.
They're like a bigger, more deformed, more like apey, lanky Demogorgon.
Yeah, from Stranger Things. Yeah,
I think they were definitely inspired by Demogorgons. At least the face was.
Yeah, just the fact that the face opens. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have hard shells, and they sharp.
So don't try to be their friend because it won't open up.
Yeah, that's terrible. They have sharp claws, and they run really fast.
They also stab little children through the chest.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, this movie does not start out slow at all. It definitely sets up the rules of the world that you're in very quickly, and doesn't let you, and then just hits go, and then what you see is what you get. It starts out with this family. They're in this, like, I assume is just this like CVS equivalent, and because like there's like food, medicine, but there's also like toys and stuff. And this child, the youngest child, finds this spaceship that he wants, and he's trying to get it down from the top shelf, and he almost knocks it over and makes a crashing noise, which would have alerted the monsters, and they probably
Would have stabbed him through the chest faster.
the movie would have been over probably right then. But
They probably all would have been stabbed through the chest. You're right.
yeah, and what's awesome is that the characters, they speak through sign language. One because the oldest daughter, Reagan Abbott, which is
Reagan.
played by Millicent Simmons. Millicent Simmons. Her character is deaf, and I think she actually might be in real life. I'm not 100% sure because she doesn't actually speak a word in this movie. And this is by the way, this is the Abbott family. We didn't even know that was the name of the family until the credits.
It might be shown somewhere, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. They literally don't. There's no backstory. There's no opening narration or anything. It's just you learn about all the rules and everything by watching it. They show you, don't tell you. That's
And
what I loved about it.
I just love that you love these characters,
Oh,
and you like care about these characters. You don't know their names,
no.
but Batman versus Superman can't make me care about Batman. So, no, that's like a knock on Batman versus Superman, but this film,
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah. So back to the beginning, they're doing sign, and this little kid wants a space toy, and his dad says no, it's too loud, it's not a good idea. So they leave, and his sister gives him the toy, but then he grabs the batteries,
Go get the batteries, right?
and oh man,
Yes, that was my reaction.
I saw that and I was like, no, and they're walking back, and they're walking across this bridge, and the daughter, it was funny, what hinted me off that the daughter was actually deaf was that whenever it like focused on her, it had that almost muffled, like underwater, can't really hear anything, and that's what like hinted to me that she was deaf. And I remember mentioning that to Nathaniel. I was like, I think the daughter's actually deaf. And you were like, okay, if you know anything else, don't tell me. Like, let me figure it out. And I was like, okay, sorry. That was just an observation that I made. I wasn't sure if you caught it. But then you see,
and then you're like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's really good. But then what happens is he puts the batteries in the toy, and it starts making a bunch of noise, and you see the terror on the parent's face.
You can see it through the beard very clearly.
The John Krasinski beard. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He just starts bolting.
I know.
This kid.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because it's like you see the daughter's face too for a second, because she doesn't know what's going on. Then she sees the parents turn around, and they're in terror, and you see her slow realization of like, oh crap,
We're gonna die.
Is that what I think it is? And you see the monster real quick. Like, you see, like most horror monster movies hold off from showing you the monster really early. You see the monster like within 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes is crazy.
And the character, he is Lee Abbott, the father. He is bolting to try to save his kid. He is running, and he sees the monster.
We see the monster.
We see the monster, and you see him reaching his hand out, and then the monster just.
Can we call it Hear No Evil? The monster? No, what were you gonna call it?
I was gonna call it a clicker, but then that just makes
me
think of Last of Us. Yeah,
We
but
could
I
call it,
I feel like that's an accurate thing because they click. So I mean,
yeah, I mean Snapper? No,
Snapper.
That's like a fish.
yeah.
How about? But yeah, so then everything else in the film unfolds.
Crack face.
Crack face.
Yeah, because they have like cracks all over their face, and then it opens up, and yeah, crack face.
So the crack face stabs the kid through the chest with its like giant spear arm.
Yeah, they have these giant claws, and it's over very quickly. You don't see a lot of gore or anything like that. The monster just totally blindsides the kid, and cuts to black. Opening title, Quiet Place.
So yeah, the film starts.
So the film starts, and yeah, it does not.
I remember watching the film. Once it hit like the 200, what was it days? Like 280.
It's like 270 something days. Yeah.
You're like, no.
I know. Yeah, it's like, I was like, no way. Like it was literally like not even, like they're not doing like, oh, like later that day. No, it's like almost a year later, or like it was like almost 200 days later. If you're like, wow, okay.
And then you kind of see everything fall into place. Them coping with the struggle of losing this kid.
Yeah, and what was funny, I remember watching the trailer and like thinking about this movie, and thinking about like and like speculating like what could it be about? You know, how do you do this? And of course they answered a lot of the questions in this movie. They're having another kid, and like Emily Blunt's character, Evelyn Abbott, she's pregnant when we see them again, and
very gutsy move.
Yeah.
What was the movie rated? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure it's rated PG-13.
Yeah, because the biggest gore that we saw, or the most amount of gore that we saw, was raccoon.
Yeah.
There was some blood, but like the raccoon.
That poor raccoon. Oh man, that poor raccoon. Yeah. So, and what's awesome about it is that it doesn't exactly. Yeah, it's PG-13.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's awesome about it is that there are, I think, 2 jump scares that I would consider cheap, and the rest of them are well warranted.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
The first one would be the raccoon.
It just falls off the roof of the house.
And they amplify the sound and add music.
It's just too noisy for a raccoon.
Yeah. Well, there was 2 of them.
Still.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Even if it was 5, it should have made that much sound.
Change everything. But yes, then and then the other one that was kind of cheap, I think, was the daughter. She was about to go down the stairs into the basement, and the dad like catches her.
It was just
like. Yeah, I know, and it was just so unnecessary. There's so many other ways he could have done it without being like a jump scary dick, but but he just totally just like, oh, we're in a horror movie, yeah, and
Haha, gotcha, deaf girl.
yeah, I know. Like, you have a deaf daughter. Why would you like grab her like that? She like what? Like why?
And he's
Why
obviously
wouldn't
not trying to
wouldn't
play
she
a prank.
scream? Why wouldn't she scream? Like, I feel like that would be the time to scream if I were her. You know what I mean? Because she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything. I don't know if there's anything behind me. All of a sudden, something grabs me. Ah! Like I.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably give her a heart attack in real life, but
Yeah.
yeah. So like, what parts? I know we've been raving like actually quite a bit, but like, what are like the highlights for you? in
Okay,
this film?
highlights
What's
for
the
me.
good?
I think the good. I mentioned this before. Was the fact that they showed and not told.
Yes.
There is dialogue, and it is pivotal to character arc and story building and stuff like that. But the rules of the world and how everything is, and the fact that they didn't like open with narration or like even like the stereotypical like news broadcast, and it's like, oh, these monsters showed up out of nowhere, blah blah blah, and then go
Like,
into the
here's
story.
New York, and we've had all these tanks, and all fade into all
Yeah.
newspapers. But they
Yeah.
did the newspapers, I think, good in this one.
They did the newspapers pretty good. They did it in a way that's like it's in the environment, but it's also just at the right angle that you can see what's going on, and it helps you piece things together.
Yeah, and it's more
Yeah.
of like in Lee's office. His name is Lee,
Yeah.
right?
Lee.
Lee, yeah.
There was also that one newspaper stand outside the CVS store, I guess, or
Yes.
the department store, where it was like, hey, it's like they hunt sound or whatever. So basically, at this point, no one knows how to kill these things. No one knows how to kill these things. There's no known weaknesses, but all people know is that they hunt sound. So if you're quiet, you're safe for the most part.
Is that why it's called A Quiet Place?
Yes.
Ah. Now, but one of the, I think, standout moments for me, one of the things I love the nail. I hated it, but I loved it.
Oh, okay. So there's a scene, the scene where Evelyn Abbott, she is first she's taking laundry up the stairs, and it gets caught on a nail, and then she like yanks it,
up.
and then it like goes straight, it goes vertical. She doesn't see it.
And I love that she doesn't immediately step on it. She comes back later. And,
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
No, yeah, and that added a lot of tension to that scene. So basically, the scene is her water breaks and she's going into labor. She's
I
going.
love how you say that so casually. It's just, her water breaks and she goes into labor. But that's what happened.
But that's totally what happens. It's a natural thing. We can talk about it casually. Oh no! She's going into labor.
Oh, water, bro!
Anyway, so she goes into labor and she's walking down these steps and just right on the nail, like all the way through. Like not a prick. No, just right
wham.
right on it. And she drops this frame that she's holding in her hand, shatters, makes a noise, and she's like, "Oh crap! Now the monsters are gonna be coming soon."
And of course, we're shriveling up in the audience, just
Oh my
just
gosh.
not ready.
And I think there's one scene that was just a continuous shot of Emily Blunt in this basement find a way to like protect herself, like get like the timer or anything to like distract the monster
While still
and all these
hiding.
things, and like while being quiet because she's in pain. One, because she stabbed her foot with a nail, and then two, she's having contractions
Because the baby's going to
because
pop
the
out of
baby's
her.
coming. So she's in so much pain, but she cannot make a sound. That was the best scene in the whole movie to me, hands down.
I think you're right. And then like scrambling into the bathtub and everything. It's just, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrifying.
Yeah, that's why it's the best scene because I think out of all the actors, she's the best one in this film. I think I'm pretty sure.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah, John Krasinski is still good. I'm not trying to take anything away from him or the child actors.
But she was given like a big role, like for
Yeah.
what she had to do
yes.
and express.
Yes, absolutely. And she's in this bathtub. She's trying to be quiet, and it's just so much pain. And they set off a distraction with fireworks to make a really loud noise, so she can make a noise, so she can scream,
Which she does.
which she does. And oh my gosh, it is. And then they have the suspense of like, oh, did the monsters get her? And then they didn't, and she's okay. and then it doesn't end there. It just gets worse, and it's just they can't catch a break.
No.
And
No part in this movie do they ever catch the break. Not even the end.
not even the end. No, there's a very emotional scene at the end where John Krasinski's character Lee Abbott, in a last ditch effort to save his children, he's already been hit by this monster once, and his kids are hiding in this truck off this like broken down truck off in the distance, and his one last ditch effort to save them is he just lets out a scream to attract the monster so that they can get away.
Yeah.
And oh man, like that was the scene right before that. He makes eye contact with his daughter, and he signs that I love you and I've always loved you, and it's just like, oh, because his daughter's been feeling guilt.
Yeah,
for like
so
the last like 200 days.
200 years. That's an old daughter.
Damn.
But yeah, I remember. Like I would have, halfway through the film, I want to say I considered her rebelliousness as being a con to the film. But once I realized that the father was, whether or not he realized it, and I think he kind of did, that he was harboring just bitterness towards her for getting her son killed.
Getting his son killed.
Getting his son killed. Yes, she doesn't have any son. Her brother.
Yeah.
It made more sense to me. Why she would be so just upset. I mean, she's like what, 13 years old?
She'd be like 13, 14.
Yeah, I mean that'd be heartbreaking for a girl that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
she's trying to like be in her father's life, and she's trying to almost like earn his acceptance or earn his love back, and he's just like
won't take her on missions.
He's just trying to protect her. Like that's like genuinely, I think in his heart he's genuinely trying to protect her, because I don't think he's ever lost love for her.
No,
I don't think he ever does, because he's trying so hard, because he's trying to make a hearing aid that works for her. He's trying so hard to do that, but
I think there's still that like deep resentments hidden somewhere.
Yeah, possibly.
Because I think he recognizes that when he's confronted by his other son.
Yeah, by his son. He said, like, you know, do you love her? And he's like, of course I do. And then he's like, well, have you told her that? And then it's that moment the moment where he's like, okay, I haven't. So that's probably an issue. I should probably do that.
Because he does say that the other son tells the dad that she like blames herself.
Yeah.
And that was never addressed by the father.
Mm-mm.
It's just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
This film is also emotional. Like
it is.
It's not just scary.
No, there was a moment where Nathaniel and I both teared up a little bit, and it was at the same part, I think.
I believe so.
It was the hearing aid part with the daughter and the mother.
Explain it a little bit.
It was so it was after John Krasinski's character had died, and they made it back to the house, and they like embrace. And even at that moment, I was like, you hear the monsters. I'm like, oh man, they can't catch a break. Like,
but she finds all the hearing aids. Yes,
and she finds all the hearing aids that he had been working on and trying to get for her. Which you see a scene earlier where he's trying to get her to try this different hearing aid, and she's mad because it's like none of them work. None of them have worked, and she's like getting mad at him, and he's trying his best, but it's not working. So
and then she finally sees that he was trying more than his best.
Yeah,
like he had a book open. He had like dozens of these things just scattered.
Mm-hmm.
It was really touching.
And there was a moment where Emily Blunt's character, she tries to sign something and she can't sign it without just like started bursting into tears. And that moment got me. I choked up a little bit. I was like, damn, that's hard to watch, man. And it was funny. I remember leaning over and saying this to you. But the moment where they're in the front of the house and they're all like hugging each other, crying. And then they hear the monsters in the background and they all run into the house. It's like, I was like, see, I like that. That's reality.
Yes.
Like Hollywood would stop for a moment and let them have that moment. But no, in real life, you're not gonna have a minute to sit and mourn. You're gonna have to get up and like,
or you're gonna die.
Yeah, or die. Yeah, exactly. So,
what do you think about the movie ending just without showing us what happened at the end?
I think that's okay. I think that.
Okay, or what do you think about it specifically?
I think it was fine. I think it was a good way to end it, only because it was consistent with like how it started. It started cold, it ended cold. You know what I mean? And they didn't give any backstory or anything beforehand, and why would they need anything afterwards? You know what I mean? They told the story. They had all the rules established. They know what makes these monsters tick. We can at least know that they have a plan, and that whether they make it or not, that's up to you. It's it doesn't matter. Like they didn't even tell us the names of the characters. I wasn't I wasn't mad. I'm sure there's some people that would be mad at that.
My natural tendency is to be mad. I thought it worked, but I think we're not giving a definite answer as to whether or not they survived. What do you think? What's your theory about their survival?
I want to say that. I want to say they at least get one more, and then maybe another one gets them. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it needs a sequel.
No,
I
think it would be a disservice to make a sequel. Honestly.
I feel like if they left it open ended for a sequel, I think that would make me upset.
I think the only way it would be good for a sequel is if they did a giant time skip and had one of the kids grown up. Then maybe it would be acceptable, but it would be a different cast basically.
Or maybe just a different scenario, like a different family or whatever, and just like just how someone else handled it.
But if it would leave off and be a sequel like directly after that, I would not be happy.
No, I wouldn't.
That would be very Hollywood-esque. Yes.
I think. And the one thing that I mentioned to you, like right after, like we were sitting in the theater for a little bit, just gathering our thoughts. I think the one thing that I liked about the movie is the fact that since there was not a lot of dialogue in it, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for weird like Hollywood catchphrases.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned
that. But there was the one moment at the end where Emily Blunt cocks a shotgun with the kind of like smirk on her face, and I think that was like the most like Hollywood punchline thing that they got to
without the punchline,
without her actually
just the
saying
visual
it.
punchline.
Yeah, you almost you could put like in captions lock and load, you know, just something stupid like that.
Which I'm glad they didn't have because that would have ruined the film for me.
Yeah, I know. That would have been so out of character and just not good at all.
And I think that's like a good statement about the movie. It knows what it is. It doesn't try to be a cheesy horror movie.
Oh no, absolutely.
It doesn't. It knows what it is and it sticks with it and it works.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I loved about it too. I love a lot of films because they never take themselves too seriously. This one takes itself very seriously, and it is not joking around at all. And it pulls no punches, and it is real AF.
And it's crazy because again with like the PG-13 rating and everything, a lot of movies are rated R, and they harp on the gore and everything, or not harp, but they like overdo the gore and everything, and they're still not as scary as this movie.
This movie does a really good job of using silence as a tension builder and like quietness as a tension builder. I can think of times where I'm sitting there and it's quiet. There's not even like music playing. It's just quiet, and I'm like plugging my ears because it's too quiet for me.
Yeah, I would actually say this movie's not scary. It's terrifying. It's horrifying.
It's a suspenseful thriller, is what it is. It keeps you like you're tense the entire time.
But for me, I was just like in terror. Like something is gonna happen. Something is gonna happen. And it did a great job of that almost the entire time.
Yeah.
But it did balance out. It did balance in a few good of those emotional moments. As for the ending, I think they all died. I don't know how. I'd like to think too that they took out one of the monsters.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they get all of them.
No, which makes me sad, but again is like consistent with the tone of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like the dad dies, and that's realistic. I mean, not everyone's gonna survive. So I think it's realistic to say that I don't think if they all make it. I could see like maybe like them getting one more, and then maybe the son getting away with the baby.
Yeah,
and then finding someone else.
Even then, baby make very loud sounds. So that
what I was expecting. This might say a lot about me as it's a kind
I think
of
I know where you're going, but okay, maybe I don't.
I was really expecting someone to smother that baby,
like so the monster wouldn't get it,
just so the monster wouldn't hear them. Like I was really expecting at some point for someone just to be like, hand over the mouth and the nose, just shut up, and then that would, I mean,
no, on purpose.
And maybe it would have started out as kind of like a be quiet thing, but then
like,
then they held it too long, and then there's this tragic accident.
Yeah.
But for survival.
But it didn't happen.
But no, that didn't happen. The baby's okay. And I'm a terrible person for thinking that.
I mean, I've thought worse things, but we can see that in my movie premiering in 2050. Because I probably won't make a movie. So
production for a really long time.
So, was there any negative points to the film you think? What didn't you like?
What didn't I like?
What didn't work?
What didn't work for me?
I think we're in agreement. The ending was not necessarily lacking, but it wasn't maybe. Go ahead.
It wasn't completely satisfying,
Yes.
which I think.
I mean,
which I think is okay because it worked for like the kind of movie it was. Like it was consistent with what they were doing.
So not necessarily bad, but not one of the strong points, I would say.
Yeah, no. I think how do you end that without it being super spectacularly over the top? You know what I mean? With them like taking out 2 more of these things, you know? So
With her hearing aid breaking.
Oh my gosh.
Then you know for sure what happens, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that turned me off during the film. Actually, I need to think about this. Was there something specific you just didn't like or didn't feel like worked? I know you said something about the military at one point when we were talking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, in the beginning. The one thing that I think is just more of like a nitpick to the storytelling, which, I mean, is fair because we don't see that. We're just following this family, so that's probably why we didn't hear a whole lot about it. But how many of these things would have to be like in the world for there to be like complete radio silence for like a bunch of countries? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that there's only 3 in the area that they're in. And it covers a lot of space. Like they're going through woods into this small town and then back to a farm. There's a lot of area that they cover, and these monsters are all hunting in that area. So my one little nitpick, I guess, and I guess it kind of comes more down to like continuity, I guess, is that if there is so many of these monsters to take out most of the human population, and everyone is now living in isolation really quietly, then how could, like, when did this start? Like, how quickly did it get out of control? Where did they come from? There's a lot of things that, you know, of course, just as, you know, I get, those are just natural questions you ask.
Right. If it was like in reality, like,
You know, like how quickly would we, like,
be overcome by them.
yeah, how quickly would we be overcome by them? And then also, like, how soon did they get all of that stuff like in their house set up? Because there was a lot of elaborate stuff to like soundproof their life. They have like a sand path that they walk all the time. They walk barefoot. They have a lot of things in there that I don't think someone could just set up in 82 days. That's just me.
How much of that did they show in the? Was it during the 200 part, or they did show some of that during the 80 days?
They show the sand path
The sand path for sure.
was in day 82 at least.
Yeah.
And they had a sand path going all the way through town and all that stuff. So there's some things that I'm like, okay, how did they set that up? That seems a bit much to me, but
It wasn't- I don't
But
think
it was
it-
necessary to tell the story, so I get why they did that.
And I
they
think-
didn't, yeah.
I don't think there was any part in the film where it was so far a stretch that I didn't accept it.
Right.
They did a pretty good job explaining things, and I really don't like the excuse where people are like, oh well, it's made up, so it's fine. It's sci-fi, so they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They did a good job of keeping to the rules that they set up for the universe.
Right.
And my biggest nitpick was, and I think it's kind of unfair because I kind of got spoiled by the movie It and by Stranger Things, child actors. I thought the deaf girl, what's the actress's name? I thought she did probably the best job out of the kids.
Millicent Simmons.
Yeah.
But then you got Noah Jupe.
Yeah, I just feel like
Mark plays Marcus Abbott.
John and Emily just outshone the kids. I mean, they're way more experienced.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
but
that's-
maybe I'm just spoiled by Stranger Things and stuff. But they could have gotten better child actors, honestly.
I think so too.
But it wasn't film breaking for sure.
No, no, that doesn't. It doesn't.
They did a good
it's
job.
not. No, it doesn't. Doesn't bring down the film by any means. It's still great.
I think it's more a testament to how good a job John and Emily did.
Yes.
Yes. So
One of the most underrated Hollywood power couples.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I don't want to argue with that because I agree. So, any last thoughts about the film before we go into our score?
I just think that if you haven't seen this yet, go see it. I mean, even though if you've sat through this and haven't seen it, you've heard a lot of spoilers of it already. It'll be something else completely to experience it on your own. So I think it's still worth seeing.
Even if you've like listened to all this and not watch it, yeah, go see it.
It's still really great, and it'll be better than listening to two idiots talk about it for like an hour. So
Well, I mean no, you're right.
um,
So what's the scores that critics peoples are giving
so
it?
let's see. IMDb gives it a 8.2 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Rotten Tomatoes has a 97%.
Oh,
Yes, and the Metacritic got an 82.
wow. So those are the critic scores.
Those are like the three those are like the top three main scores.
So better than Black Panther or no? I'm just kidding. So out of 10, what would you score it?
Out of 10. I'd probably give it a 9. A 9 only because of my few nitpicks, and just kind of how it got. And I understand that it's a sci-fi movie, so it's a movie, so like some things are there because plot. Aside from a few nitpicks, I think that's probably why it's not a 10 for me, and that's why it's a 9. But it's still being a 9. It's still probably one of the best movies I've seen so far, and I think it's become like my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Like, to be fair, Black Panther is my favorite Marvel movie of all time. That's what I've been saying.
Mhm.
But this one I think has become my favorite movie of all time so far, until something else dethrones it. I think Infinity War might dethrone it, but we'll see. That's yet to be seen. So what about you?
I wanted to say 9.5 if we include decimals, but I'm gonna say 9 too. I think it could have done maybe a little more to push me to 10. But it was phenomenal.
Right.
I love the use of silence. Other movies that I've watched have tried to do it, and it doesn't really work as well.
They just throw a jump scare in there for no reason.
Yeah, I absolutely love the sign language aspect. Just that idea of them signing, even though they're not deaf, is just that alone. As an idea.
Yeah,
for
I
film
was
is
gonna say
great.
they actually learned real ASL for the film.
Yes,
too,
they did.
which is another great attention to detail, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, so I'd agree with you. I'd say a 9.
Yeah, 9.
Is
Yeah.
what I would score it.
So-
and I think in our review of Black Panther, I want to say I gave Black Panther 9.5, which is higher than this. So continuity doesn't work in this case, but I think it's better than Black Panther,
Yeah, I think.
which is not really. I mean, just to clear that up, just in case you go back and see that I gave it a 9.5, which
Yeah.
is lower.
I
Our scale doesn't make sense.
think overall, I think this movie has become my number one movie ever. And like if I was ever home and I'm just like, hey, like I'm bored, what movie do you guys want to watch? If A Quiet Place is available, I'm like, we're watching that.
Especially, yeah, I wanna like get my friends and family to watch this. I'm like almost hesitant to say I'd see it again.
Really?
Not because I wouldn't want to. Maybe I just want to wait a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't a negative experience, but it's not one I want to go into right away. Again,
Because it is very strenuous on your heart.
yes, stabby, dead kid.
If you have a weak constitution, it might not be the best movie for you. But if you have a weak constitution and you're into that sort of thing, then maybe go.
Or
for
if
it.
you know someone who has a weak constitution. We're saying constitution a lot, but they don't know this is a horror film. Get them to watch.
They think it's A Quiet Place. It's nice
it's
and calming. Yes.
Go to the film. Strap them to the chair because they will probably run out. So
I'll try to get my friend Doug to go see it.
does he watch horror movies?
He's a wimp when it comes to horror movies. He's more scared of like paranormal stuff.
Okay.
Like he hates that. My friend Nick also he has a thing against like little ghost kids. He hates that. If there's a little ghost kid in a movie, forget about it. He's not watching it.
But yeah,
So,
great film.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Go see it if you haven't seen it. Take your friends, especially friends that will freak out, and then watch their reactions because it'll be fun.
Yeah, don't take your grandma with a heart condition though. You
No,
might lose her.
That's not a good idea. Absolutely not.
With that, I'm Nathaniel.
I'm Evan still.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully that didn't change. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll have a new episode next time whenever that. Drops.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Drop the bass.
Bye. So
I did not hit her. No, what?
No,
were you asking?
not that. Okay, so okay, so level with me for a second. Have
Sure.
you have you ever picked like belly button lint?
Unfortunately, I have.
So we're on the same level here. Like we've both done that, and everyone I've talked to about this, at least I talked about it with mostly guys. I haven't talked to any girls about it yet but of course my fiance and other females will hear this, so this it won't be in the dark anymore.
I know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. Maybe
But
I'll just sit this one out.
I don't think it's going to as weird of a place as you think it is. But okay, so I was doing that one day, and then this was before I took a shower, before I was about to get in the shower, and then I all of a sudden like I took my finger out, I saw blood.
Oh no.
So my belly button was bleeding, and it bled a lot, and I didn't know where it was coming from, and I was like sticking Q-tips in there to try to like clean it out, and it just kept, it was bad, and then of course like I'm trying to clean it out like in the shower, and then like I hear like the
That
and
is
then-
not okay.
and there's like, and as I'm trying to pull it out, there's like suction and
No.
sorry.
Keep going.
No,
I want you to, but keep going.
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it?
That's the end of the story.
Where's
And-
the punchline?
There's no punchline.
That's
It's just It's just
horrible.
a story of something that happened. My belly button bled, and then I got out of the shower. I dried it off, and then it wasn't bleeding anymore.
But did you die though?
I didn't die, but
You-
I was talking to my youth kids about it. They said like, what if that's like your like belly button opening up, trying to find an umbilical cord again?
Oh no. I'm just gonna say I think it would have been better if you would have died for your sake and for the audience's sake. That's horrible, but I'm really disturbed right now. I'll get over it in a few years, but thank
I
you.
remember just like pulling my finger out. I was like, I'm bleeding, and I don't know where it's coming from.
Uh,
Okay, that could be it. Jeez.